Hello, welcome, or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I'll be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for the 3/6 Human Design Profile, the Martyr Role Model. If you don't know what your Human Design Profile is, there's a link in the description for you to get your Human Design Body Graph. Your profile will be listed on there. You don't have to know a single thing about human design for you to watch this message. And of course, the zodiac sign readings are all posted as well, so be sure to check out your zodiac sign reading. And if you haven't done so already, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to my channel. Thank you either way for being here. I'm just glad for that, So I didn't have a plan for a spread or anything. I was just going to shuffle the cards until, some came out. And here we go. We have the 5 of Wands. It came out on its own. We have the 9 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, and the Lover's card. The Emperor at the bottom of the deck and the Empress. Interesting. 5 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles. I was literally just thinking that this kind of feels like it has to do with another person. And, maybe there has been some conflict or misunderstandings is kind of more so how I'm hearing it in my head. I also wonder if you're just like working out the kinks of something. The 5 of Wands, it does talk about conflict, competition, but it's like active, or is that the word I want to use? Or like is it maybe more so like purposeful? I feel like any type of conflict, for the most part, depending, of course, on people's intentions, conflict sucks, right? But at the same time, it does give people the opportunity to express themselves. It's just, unfortunately, some people don't do that until they're like at the end of their rope, But the reason why I'm even saying any of this, like I said, right, the 5 of Wands, we can see these two birds here that are, fighting with each other, or that's how it looks, right? But I always think of Mulan with the 5 of Wands. I keep wanting to say the 5 of Cups too. We have that behind the Emperor and the Empress here, but I think of Mulan because, right, like they all show up to warrior training. Everybody is like in their ego, super arrogant, right? Like, I'm the best of the best, right? Like, I'm the best warrior there is. I already know how to fight, blah, 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 whatever. And everybody's maybe even a little cliquey, right? Like they've kind of established, or maybe they've come with people that they know. Whatever. They're not working together, right? Like everybody's just kind of like trying to show off, and almost like fighting for position or status or whatever, right? Which is all very ego to me anyway. But then just due to like proximity and time, right? Like they go through things, they are in proximity to each other, so they're having to deal with each other more, right? Like that ego starts to deflate a little bit. The arrogance kind of starts to get replaced with like exhaustion, and if we don't work together, we're going to continue to get our asses kicked, right? And then eventually they do all come together. However, though, it does take one person breaking free of the pack and doing what needs to be done. And it's interesting that we have this 9 of Wands here too, because it almost kind of feels like this person would be that. Like, not necessarily to like throw the white flag or anything like that, but I mean, as we can see in the 9 of Wands, right? Like, they're pretty beat up. You know, like they're all bandaged. They're holding on to this one wand here. They're kind of leaning against their sword, which this is the Ace of Swords, which is the sword of truth, logic. So, you know, you or the other person involved would be feeling pretty exhausted, right? Like, just pretty run down. Wands also have to do with the actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take. I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's generally what we get by trying things. We learn what works, we learn what doesn't work. What do we like? What don't we like? Right? Even working with other people, and like the 9 of Wands is kind of like the life lessons, and how that can beat you up sometimes, right? Or feel like it anyway. And the message with the 9 of Wands is that it's not over yet. It does say, right, like, rest as much as you need to, because rest is just as important, you know, for healing here, right? But the 10 is an actual completion. We do have the 10 of Pentacles out here. So we go from this 9 to the 10, and we go from the 5 of Wands to the 6. You know, the Lovers is number 6. So I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. Progressions. Like, there's 2 progressions happening here. Even the Empress to the Hierophant is a progression. We'll get to that. The 10 of Pentacles does have to do with generations. We can see this younger looking hand and this older looking hand. You know, I mean, this could have something to do with somebody who is of a different generation than you. It doesn't necessarily have to be like specifically within your family, but and of course, either way, you know, like somebody of an older generation or somebody of a younger generation. The 10 of Pentacles also is about wealth, acquiring wealth, abundance. I almost said luxury, but I meant to say, what is the legacy? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be known? What kind of work do you want to do that makes practical sense for you? It is also a card that does speak of tradition. You know, I mean, we have this tree here. The roots are intertwined between both hands. So to me, you know, I mean, that does feel like either cultural tradition or just a tradition that is within your own family, or even like expectations within your own family. Also too, like, even how those expectations have shaped the things that you do, how you do them, what you have an interest in, or what you believe to be possible. This 5 of Wands could even actually be like, not necessarily specifically you, but people around you, family, siblings, you know, peers, whatever. Just people whose like opinions you would respect. Because I'm sitting here, you know, feeling into these cards, and I'm like, I asked them, like, if I'm heading in the right direction with a reading. I usually do that anyway, just to be sure, you know. And as I'm like sitting here, you know, mentally like asking that question, my attention was brought, well, to the fact that we really only see one person in any of these cards. I mean, we see 2 hands that would obviously belong to 2 people, but we don't see them. Right. And then my attention was then brought over to the Five of Wands. And that's kind of where I was like, oh, I wonder if it's not necessarily you, but like maybe even the energy that's around you, people that are around you. Maybe that's how you are perceiving things, or, maybe you are in a competitive field, or really trying to figure it out, whatever it is, putting a lot of like energy into it, because then, this Nine of Wands, it is exhausting to be doing that. And you have the third line, right? So the third line is very much trial and error. You have to try whatever it is. Nobody can tell you the pot's hot. You're like, hot to who, right? Like, and then you touch it and you're like, oh, that's hot. Like that kind of hot, right? Like, so you do have to try, but also it can very much get like exhausting. And especially too, depending on where you are with your sixth line experience, right? Like the first 28 to 30 years, you're going to be a 3-3, which, bro, I mean, tell me how that is going for you, or if you're already past that, tell me how it went for you for research purposes for my first line. Truly though, I would really love to know. Because you have a double dose of life bumping up against you, making and breaking bonds, trying stuff, making quote unquote mistakes, again, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. And then the second phase after your Saturn return, you go up on the roof, but that third line won't allow you to get comfy up there. It's going to bring you down the ladder. Your thighs and your butt, proverbially, hypothetically, metaphorically, whatever, are going to be in great shape going up and down that ladder. It's not a real ladder. Please don't go up and down your roof. But like, I'm just saying, right? Like you have to, put your hand in the proverbial cookie jar. Like you have to, stick your toe in the water, whatever metaphor or analogy, right? Like, I mean, I'm just going to keep throwing them out there. However though, right? Like once you kind of get your fix or your information, because like I said, right, wands are also information, you go back on the roof to rest, unpack that baggage, analyze the data. I mean, I know that's very, it doesn't have to be necessarily that serious, of course, but, and it's like all of these things are like building a life. You could be planting new roots. You could be discovering what those roots are. I love that even on the Lover's card, it's a tree. These birds are in a tree fighting, right? These wands would have been made out of a tree, but I'm kind of, grasping at wands here to like make it fit. But, the Lovers is about connection, choices too, and decisions. But it's about like the masculine and feminine energy and like yin and yang, right? And the dance between the I keep wanting to say purpose. Yeah, okay. The purpose of both of those energies. And I love that we have the masculine and feminine energies literally at the bottom of the deck. The Emperor and the Empress, Aries, Taurus, and Libra. I mean, it can be a divine counterpart. It could be truly, authority figures in your life. You could be one or the other of these energies. You can also be both, because again, right? Like it is learning to work with both the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect within yourself. The masculine aspect of going for it, initiating, not the same as, following your strategy and authority. Definitely do that. But I'm thinking masculine energy, not gender, just masculine energy, hunting, gathering information. Like I've even said, right? Sticking to the plan, like discipline, right? I feel like the Emperor is like very orderly, right? So discipline, sticking with it, very intense too, right? But also when we think Aries, like, you know, it's kind of just like, boom, going for it. Confident, fiery, right? And then we have the Empress here, who is the divine feminine. She is usually depicted as being pregnant. But in tarot, that is about reproducing opportunity or abundance or whatever it is in your life. Like you figure out the right formula for reproducing that thing. Of course, it is a good omen if you do want to expand your family, but it doesn't have to be that. But the divine feminine is intuitive, receptive, right? Like she's not going to chase. Emperor would be doing that. It's going to come to her. But also being open to receiving, nurturing, like I said, intuition, right? So we have this, the masculine of like, when the energy arrives, going for it. Then we have the feminine, being able to receive the energy too once it does arrive. The 5 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Yeah, I mean, even just having the Emperor between the 5 of Wands and the Knight of Wands, it could also even be like there's too much masculine energy going on there. There's too much doing and not enough receiving. Maybe not even allowing yourself time to rest. I mean, truly, I think rest is so underrated, regardless of your energy type. I mean, if you're not, a sacral being, then I mean, definitely need more rest than the sacral being. But sacrals even also have the capacity to burn out. Me too. Like I'm a manifesting generator. And burnout is real. Because then over here we go from the 9 of Wands to the 10 of Pentacles, and between that is the Empress card. So it's like going from the masculine, going into the feminine, trusting your intuition, nurturing yourself as well as whatever this thing is for you. Also, again, like being open to receiving. And then we have the 5 of Cups between the 10 of Pentacles and the Lover's card. This just feels like grieving a process or like something that just hasn't worked. And that could be why this 5 of Wands and 9 of Wands thing is like happening here. It's like not letting go of something or not accepting that something hasn't worked. We have these 3 cups that are spilled over. We have these 2 cups that are still there, but this person is very sad, right? So, but their focus is on these 3 cups and that these 3 cups did not do what they wanted them to do or made them feel the way that they wanted them to feel. Interestingly enough, too, we have Aries, Taurus, Gemini. The odds. I don't think that has ever happened. But the message with the 5 of Cups is that all is not lost. There's still these 2 cups here. The 3 of Cups in tarot talks about support from others, networking, friendships, right? So maybe there was something to, like in a group setting that didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. The 2 of Cups, though, is basically the minor arcana card to the Lover's card, because it does talk about connections, shared values, right? Like 2 people showing up with their full cups, being able to pour from a full cup. And maybe that's the thing, right? Like maybe instead of trying to appeal to a larger group of people, you start with 1 or 2. Start smaller. Whatever it is. I mean, it could be work. We have the 8 of Pentacles after all of that. And that does talk about work. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it there. thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.